Anyway, I'm so glad now that you approached John Walsh up forward to come and toast the Lassies. When we asked John to do that, he thought he was going to speak to the backs. We told them that Lassies were higher food chain than the backs. So I would now like to ask John Walsh to speak to the Lassies and the backs.
No barked! No barked!
Oh dear.
That was yours.
Alright, before we start, can I please ask everyone to raise their glasses and thanks to Susie and the guys from Merchants for a wonderful meal.
Here.
So, it is of course an honour and a privilege to be given the opportunity to toast the Lassies at a Burnside. And I'm sure many of you who don't know me are wondering what young, handsome Irish Francis would be able to offer on a night like tonight. I can't see very well. But I don't know, so look at her. So I guess to answer your questions, obviously, as I mentioned, I am Irish and I'm a rugby player, which always helps, especially with the Lassies. I am at the ripe old age of 33. I am going through divorce number 1 in preparation for wedding number 2.
To the boat.
Obviously, I'm interested there somewhere. And I can safely say, and I'm sure there's many of the players at the rugby club who back this up, I have never lost a game of I have never. Being Irish, I haven't been to too many Burns suppers. I have been to 3. And thanks to Tony Doran, who's not here tonight, I can remember vaguely one of them. So I obviously had to do a lot of research in order to prepare for tonight. And always the first place you go to is to speak to the last incumbent who carried out the role. So I've taken down a few notes. But apparently, not talking to Sam obviously, 45 minutes, if I'm less than 45 minutes then I'm doing a good enough job. And I also have to apologise for the fact that if you've heard this before, it's because Sam didn't really leave much else to talk about. And after watching the video last night, if you see me pacing about and doing that an awful lot, I need to stop, because that just means that it's gone past about 10 minutes. And I'm getting too confident. So, obviously the tradition of the Burns supper and the toast of the Lassies is to marvel at the role of women in the modern world and reflect on Burns' obviously much favoured love for women. I do have one part in the speech, I have to admit, where I do try and recite a bit of a Burns song, so I will have to put on an accent for that. I apologise to everybody in the room who's Scottish. So, as I've already mentioned, obviously marriage plays a big part in my life. And it's obviously something that still is alive today, and displaying the love between man and woman. And obviously the Burns love and marriage was very key in his poetry. Going through the list of all his poems, I would say a good 50% of them had a different woman's name at the end of it. But there's only one woman he obviously managed to tie him down, and as everybody knows, that's Jean Armour, who was the muse for Wife's a Winsome Wee Thing. But obviously weddings have also been a big focus recently in the past year. We've had the royal wedding, and it's very seldom that something can bring a nation together such as a royal wedding and leave one immortal image stuck in everybody's mind. So I'd like everybody to raise their glass and please post a toast to Pippin Middleton. But obviously over time there's been a change in roles in the male-female relationship. and expectations of women are obviously changing in this modern world. So in Burns' day, it was very simple. The woman was expected to be a homemaker, a nursemaid, and obviously the dutiful wife. And of course, that's only after the bride's family paid a talker to the suitor to take her off her hands. And that very neatly brings me into the one Burns quote that I'm going to do tonight. So I firstly will apologise for my pronunciation and my bad Scottish accent. But he did write the poem, Alas, we a talker. So away with your witchcraft, O beauties of arms, the slender bit beauty you grasp in your arms. O gie me a lass with the acres of charms, gie me a lass with the well-stocked farms. So, as you can guess, in those days, men wouldn't really enter into marriage very easily without a lot of money coming their way. But times have changed. Nowadays, it's not unknown for a man to pay for the attention of fair sex. Of course, I would never suggest that anyone in Northern would frequent those sort of establishments. Nor will I suggest that anyone in this room would frequent any of those establishments.
Harbin, you're looking at me for.
Cast any aspersions at all, so look to that yourself. So, it's also not uncommon these days for a man to look to improve, or looks to improve with the size of his wallet or his bank balance. And of course, it's no longer unknown for the lady of the house to be the breadwinner and the man to be the homemaker and obviously with that change in roles, women are becoming more sort of figures of power in the world. Obviously there's very recent examples, Margaret Thatcher, who wasn't happy making one man's life miserable. You've got Hillary Clinton, who sort of turned a blind eye to her husband's indiscretion in order for career progression. And of course, you've got the future Mrs. Karen Doran. Oh, sorry. I actually meant to take that one out because apparently Tony is allowed out to play tonight, just not allowed out with us. But sort of picking up on that point, it's something that we in Northern have seen very often throughout the years, where there's a guy who's down at the club every Friday, Saturday night, or out every Friday night, and then mysteriously develops some sort of allergic reaction to the bunker, which tends to coincide with a relationship or a marriage. So it is a very severe ailment, and I would like everyone to take a minute to remember those who we appear to have lost in the past. Memory for Ross Hornsey, Paddy Doran, Alan Aiken, Ali Gray, and for some reason Tom Simpson. Who is he? That wasn't any sort of judgment on Tom or his woman. I'm not quite sure why I wrote that down. And I would say that obviously Tony Doran's situation is critical at the minute, but we are hoping for a fast recovery.
Pablo as well.
But what do we Northern men expect? Would that you consider on a Saturday night what we send home to those poor women after let out in Garibaldi's? So if we think about what poor Mrs. Chapman has to put up with, she wakes up to find Drew, Crazy Hans Chapman trying to break the wall somewhere. And of course there is the aforementioned poor Mrs. Doran, who wakes up to find assorted takeaway trays from all of the same night. And I don't really want to think about what Ben Walker's better half finds.
Ben Walker's got a bird. Multiple.
But seriously, we do tend to have a laugh from day to day about men being under the thumb and not coming down to the club. But in reality, what the women of Northern are doing are saving us from ourselves. And of course, saving themselves from a Sunday morning of complaining about how sore they are, how hungover they are, and how they wish they'd come home at 10 o'clock instead of 4:30. And of course, the old adage does say, behind every great man, there is of course a great woman. Of course, that adage forgot to mention that the woman would have a list of things that you're supposed to do, and a long memory of things that you've done wrong in the past. just to keep you on your toes. But in reality, women are the key to life. Obviously, women give birth, and as a man, I cannot imagine giving birth, especially with the equipment that we've been given. Women always listen to the words of a man. Of course, they do eventually say, man up and stop winning. And of course, most importantly of all, women actually know how the iron is supposed to work. Oh, that one went down worse. But in all seriousness, the reason for this toast is to look at how great women are in life, and I don't think there is any words to actually describe that. So, gentlemen, can we please have your feet? To the Lassies.
The Lassies.
Are we allowed to say that? Oh, my, just in my head.